In Terra, class hierarchy dictates your entire existence. Even the legendary Blade King remains shackled by fate, suffering public humiliation while his legacy rots in chains. Yet Lae'zel Landlot refuses to bow to these pathetic bullies, mocking their fragile authority despite his own broken state, and taking a brutal strike for his defiance, while his tormentors demand he accept his lowly slave status, but Lae'zel just laughs at their desperate need for validation. Finding twisted joy in how much they fear his potential, because these seal masters rely on borrowed power for relevance, and they love pointing out that Lae'zel lacks that holy seal, claiming his legendary grandfather would be ashamed of this failure, until a terrified slave girl interrupts their pathetic power trip, warning that the deputy captain demands their immediate presence, so the bullies leave Lae'zel to catch his breath, while Xiaomi checks on his injuries with genuine concern. Apologizing for the trouble she caused by breaking a plate, but Lae'zel brushes it off, insisting he protects his own, though her clumsy compliment about his weakness hits a nerve. As the harsh reality of their training camp looms ahead, Lae'zel reflects on 5 years of brutal forced slavery, remembering the day his family was torn apart forever, watching his parents fall while he was helpless to intervene, and the agonizing moment his little sister was dragged away. Cursing his grandfather's legacy for the ruin of their house, vowing vengeance against those who stole his entire life, but a guard's sudden strike snaps him back to reality, leaving him desperate to escape this hellish, demeaning cycle. While Xiaomi tries to comfort him with naive optimism, yet Lae'zel remains obsessed with unlocking his dormant, hidden power, revealing the horrific medical experiments he endured after his capture, where they pumped dark demon cells into his broken body, and finally sold him as a failed, worthless product, so he treats every beating as a catalyst for growth, until the bullies return to snatch Xiaomi away, forcing Lae'zel to lunge forward with his makeshift blade, while the creep Phalo mocks her with disgusting, predatory intent, laughing at Lae'zel's pathetic attempt to stand his ground. But Lae'zel's eyes burn with a lethal, cold fury, and he unleashes a desperate, explosive strike to save her. Phalo flexes his borrowed seal power, taunting Lae'zel with his pathetic stolen superiority, then launches a brutal, invisible airstrike, slamming Lae'zel into the dirt with force, while the boy struggles to even breathe, pinned down by the sheer, crushing pressure, as Phalo laughs at his complete helplessness, gloating over his control of the battlefield, until the deputy captain arrives to intervene, and the bullies immediately shift the blame, claiming Lae'zel dared to attack his superiors. So the deputy delivers a bone-shattering kick, followed by a sadistic, crushing stomp down, while mocking Lae'zel for his lack of power and dredging up his family's tragic, ruined history, demanding he accept his place as property, while grinding his face into the dust, as Lae'zel's eyes burn with pure, unadulterated rage, and the deputy targets Xiaomi next, forcing Lae'zel to watch his friend suffer. Lae'zel screams in defiance, refusing to break, while his tormentor pins him down, mocking him. But Lae'zel snaps, lunging with a desperate, lethal intent, and the bully recoils, shocked by his sudden ferocity, as the attacker retaliates with a brutal, crushing strike, sending Lae'zel flying through the air completely helpless, while his consciousness slips into a dark, cold void, and a sinister presence whispers of his impending death, questioning if this fatal trauma triggers a hidden awakening, as a dark demon offers a twisted, survival pact, promising power in exchange for his very soul, while a demonic horn begins to sprout from his head, and the mark of the beast fully manifests, as Lae'zel erupts with a terrifying, hellish aura, leaving his stunned enemies frozen in absolute, paralyzing fear, while he taps into the bloodline of his ancestors, and his eyes glow with a cold, murderous light, as he delivers a devastating, bone-crushing counterattack, leaving his former tormentor broken and defeated. While the remaining bullies watch in pure, unadulterated horror, Lae'zel's mind fractures under the weight of ancestral memories, as a demonic presence forces a lethal, soul-binding pact, and Roy, the arrogant seal master, charges in blind rage, but Lae'zel counters with precision, shattering his pathetic, overconfident guard, while the bully realizes too late that his prey fights back, as Lae'zel unleashes a palm strike fueled by pure inherited instinct, mocking Roy's sloppy technique while his own breathing steadies, and pointing out the fatal flaw in Roy's stolen power, before delivering a crushing blow that sends the bully flying, leaving Roy scrambling in the dirt, humiliated by a slave, while Lae'zel marvels at the sudden, terrifying mastery of his body, knowing his physical limits are the only thing holding him back, as the other tormentors watch, frozen in absolute, paralyzing disbelief, and they realize the boy they broke is now a threat. So a new guard lunges in, desperate to reclaim their control, but Lae'zel dances through the air, dodging every desperate, clumsy strike, while the entire camp stares in shock at the impossible reversal, as Lae'zel grabs his attacker, slamming him down with brutal force, and the guard coughs up blood, his arrogance completely shattered, while Lae'zel stands tall, proving that their chains no longer hold. Phalo charges with a glowing fist, desperate to crush Lae'zel. But Lae'zel tanks the impact, leaving the crowd in total shock, while Phalo's arrogance cracks as he stares down his prey, and Lae'zel mocks his weak technique, easily absorbing the stolen energy, causing the surrounding bullies to panic at this impossible reversal, as Lae'zel prepares to unleash a forbidden, ancient technique, launching a brutal counterstrike that sends Phalo flying into the dirt, while a demonic aura erupts, marking Lae'zel as a true seal master. leaving his enemies trembling as they realize their dominance has vanished. And Mi watches in awe, witnessing Laisel's terrifying sudden awakening, while a bully screams in denial, refusing to accept a slave's power. But Laisel cuts him down with cold, biting sarcasm, igniting his own inner fire to show them real high-level arts, as the onlookers recoil, terrified by the monster standing before them, and Laisel's eyes burn with a lethal, focused intensity. Though he knows his current body limits his true ancestral potential, yet he stands his ground, daring anyone else to step forward, while the crowd waits in breathless silence for his next move, and Laisel strikes with surgical precision, shattering his opponent's pride and bones, leaving the bully broken in the dust, finally silenced by a slave. This Shadow Iron squad seethes, furious at Laisel's sudden spotlight, while Lord Calder gets a frantic summons from the city lord, leaving him to handle the unexpected arrival of these unwanted guests, and he dismisses Laisel for now, promising a later, darker reckoning. But the scene remains chaotic as the injured are finally moved, with everyone scrambling to reach the Saints Guild before time runs out, while Laisel desperately carries Mi, praying she survives the journey, and their fellow slaves rally behind him, finally finding their collective voice, hailing him as the true successor to the legendary Blade King. Though Laisel ignores their sudden praise, focused only on saving her, realizing his ancestral power is finally waking up within his veins, and he vows that this newfound strength will fuel his ultimate revenge. As they arrive at the imposing gates of the Saints Guild, where Emily the receptionist is caught off guard by the commotion, and the panicked slaves beg for urgent medical help for Mi, while Laisel snaps at their incompetence, demanding immediate care for her. So Emily leads them inside, clearly overwhelmed by the desperate group, where Sir Alan is already busy and annoyed by the interruption, and he explodes in anger, furious at their lack of basic manners, but he freezes, catching a familiar haunting scent from Laisel's past. Sir Alan snaps, prioritizing his precious potions over lives, while Laisel begs for mercy, desperate to save his friend, but their pleas are cut short by a violent, magical explosion. As Sir Alan panics, his unstable concoction spiraling out of control, and Laisel spots the critical error in the volatile, glowing mixture, while the room erupts in a blinding, destructive surge of energy, leaving everyone scrambling for cover as the lab begins to collapse, and the smoke clears to reveal another batch of ruined ingredients, while Sir Alan rages, completely oblivious to the danger he caused, and he turns his frustration on the terrified, helpless maid. But Laisel steps in, coldly dismantling the alchemist's pathetic, flawed logic, pointing out every amateur mistake that doomed the entire experiment, while holding the forbidden formula that the guild tried to erase, and Sir Alan freezes, his arrogance replaced by pure chilling shock, as the maid gasps, realizing the forbidden nature of his knowledge, while Sir Alan frantically backpedals, claiming it was just for research, and Laisel mocks his cowardice, questioning why he's so terrified. As he leans in, offering to teach the master his secrets, while the room goes deathly silent, the truth finally sinking in, and Sir Alan realizes exactly who he's been insulting all along. Laisel drops a bombshell, revealing his true lineage, and the alchemist panics as his stolen secrets vanish. But Laisel offers a trade, knowledge for Mi's life, leaving the master alchemist sweating under the intense pressure, while the maid watches, terrified of the impending guild scandal. As Sir Alan realizes this kid is not bluffing at all, and he frantically tries to frame this as academic research, so Laisel pushes his advantage, forcing the alchemist to comply, while the air thickens with the weight of ancient power, and the desperate slave begs for Mi's immediate salvation, forcing Sir Alan to scramble and play the hero now, as he channels his energy, terrified of Laisel's hidden potential, while Mi finally stabilizes, breathing a sigh of relief. And the alchemist demands his promised reward for the work, but Laisel hands over the perfect concoction with zero effort, leaving Sir Alan reeling at the sheer impossible quality, since he spent months failing where Laisel just succeeded, and the master checks the formula, finding it absolutely flawless, while Laisel plays it cool, acting like it's nothing special, and the alchemist confirms the scent, his pride completely shattered. Laisel snatches the precious potion right away, and the vial shatters, leaving Sir Alan devastated, while Laisel coolly dismisses the entire academic research, as the alchemist screams over his lost, rare ingredients, watching his life's work puddle on the floor, while Laisel grabs him, demanding he focus on reality, and the maid watches in horror as secrets spill, while Sir Alan rages, desperate to escape this guild, leaving the maid stunned by his sudden, wild confession, since the truth about his past finally surfaces, revealing his former status in the Royal Guild and his shameful exile after burning the lab, while he threatens Laisel, demanding payment for the loss. But Laisel mocks the worth of his pathetic potion, as he demonstrates a technique that terrifies the alchemist, and Laisel offers a path to increase his talent, while Sir Alan trembles, fearing the cost of power, as Laisel points out the ultimate hidden truth, claiming the only skill that matters is becoming strong. Sir Alan panics, his ego crumbling under Laisel's reveal, while Laisel keeps the pressure on, refusing to let him escape, and he mocks the alchemist's incompetence, calling his work pure chaos, as Sir Alan snaps, desperate to find any way to silence him, but Laisel breaks him, forcing the master to beg for mercy, while the maid watches in horror as the guild's reputation implodes, and Sir Alan grovels, his dignity sacrificed for his own survival. As Laisel plays the sadistic mentor, enjoying the alchemist's total collapse, while a blinding, unnatural light erupts from their dinner table, and the slaves stare in disbelief as the food begins glowing, as Lae'zel reveals his secret alchemy turning scraps into pure energy, while Xiaomi feasts stunned by the impossible, delicious quality, and Lae'zel rests, his body absorbing the energy to heal instantly, as he realizes his true potential is finally within his grasp. While he clenches his fist, vowing to avenge his fallen family, and he steps into the night ready to push his limits, as he stands alone preparing to channel his ancestors' forbidden arts, while the air ignites with power as he calls upon the Blade King, and Lae'zel unleashes a devastating technique shattering the silence of the night, as he forces his body to evolve, tempering his strength through pure pain. Lae'zel hits the dirt, the cost of his power finally sinking in. Despite the toll on his lifespan, he vows to become even more ruthless. A sharp action beat lands and changes the fight. Inside the Saints Guild, the leadership is already questioning the boys' strange game. Panic sets in as they realize their own records lack his forbidden knowledge. Lae'zel forces the alchemist to scavenge for his specific high-stakes requirements. Regret hits the alchemist hard, realizing he's been played by a mere slave. A sharp action beat lands and changes the fight. An unexpected visitor interrupts the store, catching the alchemist off guard. Lady Garcia confronts him, holding the recipe that should not exist. This alchemist is speechless, caught in his own trap. Chaos erupts as the guild leadership demands answers about the suspicious formula. Branch President Edward examines the paper, sensing something truly dangerous. They press the alchemist for the truth, suspecting a massive secret. Sweating bullets, the alchemist realizes his reputation is about to implode. Lady Garcia corners him, demanding to know if he's the true author. She suspects the truth is far darker than he admits. Back at the camp, the atmosphere shifts as the slaves watch in awe. A witness recognizes the ancient, forbidden heritage flowing through Lae'zel's veins. Every trial Lae'zel survives only fuels his terrifying, growing strength. Fina Garcia corners Alan, exposing his stolen alchemy secrets. While the legendary soul temper recipe surfaces, radiating forbidden power, and the guild's dark history with this formula resurfaces, as Alan sweats, terrified that his fraud is exposed, but Lae'zel's influence looms large, leaving the alchemist completely cornered, while Fina probes for more, sensing the recipe's true potential, and Alan desperately pivots, dragging Calder into his frantic cover-up, as the brutal reality of seal cultivation demands constant, agonizing refinement. While Lae'zel pushes his limits, tempering his body through sheer pain, and the other slaves watch in disbelief at his impossible progress. As Lae'zel collapses, his body pushed to the absolute breaking point, while ancestral memories flood his mind, revealing a shocking family secret, and he realizes his sister Eileen might actually be alive, as his body screams for recovery, drained of all vital energy, while Xiaomi provides a desperate, unconventional healing massage. And Lae'zel's custom recovery technique kicks in, accelerating his physical restoration. As he flexes his revitalized muscles, feeling stronger than ever before, while a sudden summons from the Saints Guild interrupts his training, and Lae'zel grins, knowing Alan has finally prepared his ingredients. Lae'zel scans the area, hunting for his ambushers. A hidden blade whistles past, narrowly missing his head. Reflexes sharp, Lae'zel locks onto the incoming threat instantly. The Shadow Iron Squad emerges, demanding payment for his insolence. Lae'zel scoffs, realizing these clowns are the ones hunting him. Their leader gloats, mocking Lae'zel's lower rank with pure arrogance. Lae'zel just smirks, unimpressed by their pathetic, loudmouthed posturing. He goads them, knowing their squad is falling apart fast. This leader snaps, unleashing a flashy, high-tier combat art. Lae'zel dodges with ease, mocking the wasted, sloppy energy. He identifies the technique, realizing it's actually middle-tier trash. Lae'zel taunts their speed, pointing out how slow they are. Shock ripples through the squad as he effortlessly evades them. Desperate, the leader tries a cascading slash to finish him. Lae'zel counters, his own power erupting with terrifying, raw precision. He dismantles their attack, leaving the leader wide open. Lae'zel strikes back, showing them what real skill looks like. His counter lands perfectly, shattering their fragile, inflated ego. This squad watches in horror, realizing they're completely outclassed. Lae'zel finishes the lecture, exposing every flaw in their defense. This Shadow Iron leader struggles, his confidence shattered, and he desperately clings to his rank, terrified of losing face. But Lae'zel ignores his pathetic posturing, closing the distance instantly, as he channels a lethal, forbidden art to end this farce. And the leader's eyes widen, finally sensing the true, crushing power, while he freezes in terror, realizing he's completely out of his league, as Lae'zel mocks his ignorance, confirming the spiritual nature of his strike. And with a single precise blow, he obliterates the leader's defense, leaving the squad's pride in ruins as the underdog dominates, while Lae'zel stands triumphant, his aura radiating a dangerous, newfound intensity, and the scene shifts to the opulent Greyrock City Castle, where Lady Garcia arrives, her presence demanding immediate fawning respect, as Lord Ludolf Herman welcomes her, eager to secure her favor, while they discuss the elusive, legendary heritage of the Soul Temperers, and Lady Garcia reveals her secret motive, curing the princess's deadly malady, as she downplays the difficulty, hiding her own desperate internal struggle, while Lord Ludolf showers her with praise, oblivious to her true anxiety. And she walks away, burdened by the crushing weight of her mission, as she pushes herself to the brink, terrified of failing the Empire. While back at the site, the squad stares in shock at their fallen leader. Calder lies shattered, his ego crushed by Lae'zel, and the deputy commander gasps as steel meets his throat, while he pathetically begs for mercy to save his skin. But Lae'zel ignores the pleas, his blade demanding a toll, as he strikes Calder's leg, punishing the man's arrogance. While Lae'zel vows vengeance for the suffering of Zio Mi and the onlookers panic, baffled by his impossible combat prowess, as the maid warns that killing a master is suicide. But Lae'zel scoffs, his cold gaze silencing her weak protest, while she seethes, insulted that a slave dares defy her. And Lae'zel storms off, leaving the humiliated squad behind, as he finds Sir Alan demanding the promised rare ingredients, while the alchemist grovels, desperate to stay in his good graces. And Lae'zel forces the coward to witness his ruthless power, as he drags the trembling alchemist toward the secret lab, while Calder screams threats, his pride permanently stained in blood, and the maid watches them go, fuming at the insolent boy, as she wonders if the legendary recipe is truly his, while she suspects the slave is hiding a dangerous secret. And Lae'zel begins the final, high-stakes alchemical ritual. Lae'zel demands the cauldron, forcing a desperate negotiation, as he admits his novice rank, shocking the alchemist, while the master rages, questioning how a slave survives, and Lae'zel mocks his incompetence, revealing their shared pathetic standing, as the hierarchy of power flashes before their eyes, while Lae'zel prepares to ignite the alchemist's dormant soul core, and he warns of the risks, pushing the master's limits, as the alchemist trembles, envious of such forbidden, raw potential, while Lae'zel smirks, hiding his true, terrifyingly deep expertise. And the ritual erupts, flooding the lab with energy, as the alchemist gasps, feeling his own power finally surge, while Lae'zel directs him, hunting for specific rare ingredients, and he commands the master to craft a dragon breath potion, as the lab catches fire, forcing the alchemist to focus, while they succeed, producing 3 perfect middle-tier elixirs, and Lae'zel takes control, refining the batch with impossible speed, as he injects his own soul, birthing a legendary elixir. While the alchemist stares in awe at the finished product, and Lae'zel confirms the heritage, shattering the master's fragile reality. As the alchemist realizes he's been completely outplayed by a slave, Lae'zel flaunts forbidden alchemy, leaving the alchemist reeling, and he drops a bombshell about his mother's secret, forcing the alchemist to realize he's holding dangerous history, so Lae'zel threatens him, demanding total silence on this, while explaining how these potions fuel his rapid growth. And the alchemist greedily accepts, seeing his own path, but Lae'zel pushes further, demanding a way out now, as he challenges the master to aim for greatness, pointing out that staying a slave is pure suicide, while the alchemist panics, his ego crumbling under pressure, and Lae'zel strikes a deal, freedom in exchange for referrals, as he envisions a future where he's finally untouchable, but the slave mark remains a constant, lethal reminder. While his fellow slaves worry about his reckless behavior, and Lae'zel laughs off their fear, ready to kill, as they warn him about the deadly military commander, but he just smirks, finding the danger absolutely thrilling. While the guild leadership prepares to hunt him down, and Fina Garcia arrives ready to unleash real power, a glowing celestial fern manifests in her palms, and the guild leaders applaud her genius discovery, while she explains how it might cure the princess. But she deflects their praise to learn from them, casually dropping Lae'zel's name to test their reaction, and the room goes cold as they recognize his lineage, realizing the legendary Landlot heir is now a slave, which leaves her stunned by his hidden royal connection, as she recalls her own obsession with his mother, and her mask slips, revealing a rare fangirl side, but she quickly pivots, plotting how to use him, while the city lord warns against such dangerous ties. And the alchemist sweats, desperate to hide his ignorance, as the guild leaders crash the meeting with questions, demanding to know why a traitor deserves a chance, while the tension spikes as they file a formal objection, and they corner the alchemist about the massive risks, as he panics, terrified that Lae'zel will ruin him, but Lae'zel's eyes burn with a terrifying, absolute certainty, and he looms over the coward, demanding total submission. Alan sweats bullets, his will completely shattered. While Lady Garcia pushes for a high-stakes gamble, and she demands Lae'zel be tested in the arena, so the guild leader eagerly accepts the dangerous challenge, forcing Alan to bet his entire career on Lae'zel, who now has no choice but to accept, as the countdown to his trial officially begins, while Lae'zel channels his energy into a brutal technique, and he masters the gust palm with terrifying precision, as the weight of his lineage fuels his ambition. While the Shadow Iron squad seethes in their hall, and their captain returns to find his men broken, as Tiffin Apaldi learns his squad was humiliated by a slave, while he rages at the incompetence of his subordinates, and Calder begs for a chance to redeem his pride, as Tiffin demands they eliminate Lae'zel before the trial, while they plot a cowardly, lethal strike in the shadows, and Lae'zel recalls the brutal lessons of his past, as his father's cold, unforgiving voice echoes in his mind. While Lae'zel meditates, preparing to crush every threat ahead, Lae'zel wakes up haunted by memories of the traitor Leba, wondering how someone so prideful could ever betray the Empire. But his brooding is cut short by a demanding warehouse overseer, so he drags his feet, annoyed by the heavy manual labor, while a nearby girl plays the damsel, begging for his help, and Lae'zel stares her down, completely unimpressed by her act, as he ignores her pathetic plea, refusing to be played. But she forces the issue, grabbing him in a dizzying display, and she turns on the charm, desperate to manipulate our boy, while Lae'zel snaps, showing her exactly how to handle heavy loads, and she offers him water, trying to butter him up, as he downs the drink completely unfazed by her obvious games, while he shatters the stone with a casual, precise strike, and she freezes in shock, realizing he's way out of her league. As Lae'zel smirks, knowing he's completely dominated the social interaction. While inside the lab, the alchemist pushes for a breakthrough, and he channels raw energy, desperate to reach the next tier. As he finally succeeds, his alchemy skill surging to new heights, while he credits Lae'zel's methods, realizing he's become a total pawn, and he rages at his own stupidity, regretting ever trusting Lae'zel. This nervous contact regrets ever hiring a traitor. Fearing Lae'zel's mind-bending illusions have left him compromised, while the Darkfold Union celebrates a job supposedly done, bragging about how easily they silenced the young target. But the client demands proof, terrified of a botched hit, as the assassin confirms the kill to secure his payout, while the client fixates on Lae'zel's stolen blade, and the assassin's eyes widen in sudden, dawning horror, as the realization of his fatal mistake hits home. While the vice captain chokes, realizing his drink was poisoned, and he collapses, his body failing under the toxic surge, as Lae'zel watches from the shadows, mocking the amateur, while he reveals the lethal Mesona potion's ticking clock, and his terrifying spiritual gaze locks onto the victim, as Lae'zel steps out, schooling them on basic combat awareness, while he vows to return the favor for their treachery, and the panicked squad turns on each other in confusion. As Lae'zel retreats, his energy drained by the ocular technique, while he shakes off the fatigue needing to stay sharp, and Fina Garcia appears, cornering him for a private talk. Lae'zel wakes up already annoyed by another assassin, while rumors spread that he's entering the showdown judgment, and his fellow slaves watch, stunned he might actually escape. As Lae'zel reviews the brutal hierarchy of seal masters, noting the terrifying power levels he'll soon have to face. When Fina Garcia corners him, desperate for a private chat, and she warns him that the upcoming trial is rigged, so Lae'zel mocks her, acting like he's totally forgotten her, while she puffs up, offended that he doesn't recognize royalty, and he needles her, calling her that meddlesome woman again, as she explains the danger of the elite examiner Sir Hogg, while Lae'zel scoffs, dismissing the threat of a mere alchemist, and she insists that dark alchemy is a different beast. So Lae'zel pauses, finally realizing the gravity of her warning, as he asks if she's really just here to help, while she blushes, clearly hiding a deeper, more personal motive, and she admits she's just a fan of his potential. So Lae'zel pivots, instantly turning her admiration into a transaction, and he demands she fund his rise with cold cash. Lae'zel returns, suspicious of the girl's motives, as Zio Mi offers him a reserved meal, and he charms her, masking his true, cold intentions. While she drops the news of his impending freedom, and he fuels his aura, hungry for more power, as she jokes about him leaving her behind, terrified, while Lae'zel reassures her, promising to secure her safety, and she blushes, overwhelmed by his unexpected, gentle touch, as he teases her, mocking her sudden emotional breakdown, while the stench of toxic residue forces her back, and Lae'zel broods, knowing he needs a massive breakthrough, as he clenches his fist, desperate to transcend limits. While he trains relentlessly, shocking everyone with his intensity, and the official summons for his trial finally arrives, as the high-stakes showdown for his freedom begins, while the crowd watches, waiting for his inevitable failure, and the arrogant noble punishes the slaves for cheering, as Lady Garcia watches, hungry for his potential display, while a terrified Alan approaches, trembling at Lae'zel's presence, and Lae'zel confronts him, sensing the coward's mental collapse. Lae'zel grips his blade, ready for the trial, and he retrieves his weapon, eager for the carnage, while the examiner Hogg steps up, radiating pure hostility, and the alchemist panics, his entire future on the line, as Hogg sneers, vowing to crush Lae'zel's dreams immediately, while the guild leader rants about protecting their reputation, and Lae'zel freezes, hearing his father's name dragged through mud, as the realization hits, his family legacy is the target. While the match officially begins with a massive explosion, and Lae'zel channels his rage, ready to unleash hell, as Hogg activates his dark seals, showing no mercy, while the arena erupts as the dark devils manifest, and the crowd gasps, witnessing the sheer lethal power, while the tension peaks, the trial turning into slaughter, and the summoned beasts hunt, closing in on Lae'zel, while the spectators panic, convinced he's already dead meat. And his companion watches, terrified for his survival, while she explains the brutal mechanics of the technique, and Lae'zel stands his ground, analyzing the deadly threat, as he spots the weakness, kill the caster, win everything. Lae'zel spots the dark shield, a lethal barrier, while the crowd loses their minds at his audacity, and he lunges forward, closing the distance in seconds, as the Trinity Sage unleashes a massive, swirling attack. But Lae'zel refuses to dodge, mocking their predictable patterns, and he deflects the soul sphere with pure raw instinct, while he notes their coordination, already dissecting their weak points, and he identifies the Trinity Sage's core, a deadly duo, as he realizes this old man is far more dangerous, while Lady Garcia watches, sensing the arena's impending destruction, and Lae'zel channels his aura, preparing to shatter their defense, as the impact rocks the stadium, dust choking the air. While he insults the bull-headed beast, baiting a reckless move, and he executes a perfect sword surge, cutting through chaos, as he strikes with precision, forcing the beast to retreat, while the examiner spams spells, desperate to keep him away, and Lae'zel bats the soul sphere aside, completely unimpressed, as the examiner panics, his ultimate technique failing to connect, while the Trinity Sage's formation crumbles under Lae'zel's relentless pressure. and he closes in for the kill, shattering their pride. Lae'zel cuts through the smoke, questioning the chaos, while the onlookers freeze, realizing they've been played, and they panic as Lae'zel reveals his spiritual arts. So Hogg stares, stunned by the kid's hidden depth, but the examiner doubles down, betting on mindless beasts, as Lae'zel stands firm, ready to end this charade, and he mocks Hogg for staking everything on one move, while Lae'zel prepares his own final, decisive counterstrike. And he channels pure energy into a blinding blade, as Hogg watches his confidence shatter into total disbelief, while the crowd erupts, questioning Lae'zel's true hidden rank, and he swings, aiming to sever every chain binding him, as the slash tears through the arena's heavy air, while the dark beasts vanish under his overwhelming pressure, and Lae'zel holds his stance, breathing through the exhaustion, as the spectators scramble to manage the stadium's wreckage. While Hogg kneels, his pride completely broken by the defeat, and Lae'zel looms over him, demanding a final admission. As the examiner gasps, finally conceding his total failure, while the verdict drops, granting Lae'zel his hard-won freedom, this crowd erupts, deafening cheers shaking the arena, while his allies celebrate, stunned by his sudden growth, and she tears up, overwhelmed by his sheer brilliance, as the noble sneers, begrudgingly acknowledging his unexpected victory. While Lae'zel stands tall, ready to claim his freedom, but the troop commander interrupts, refusing to accept defeat, and Lae'zel strikes, unleashing a devastating, moon-slicing wave, as he follows up, crushing the air with force, while the impact shatters the ground, debris flying everywhere, and the commander watches, his confidence crumbling into dust, as Lae'zel blitzes forward, closing the gap with speed, while he mocks the commander, baiting a desperate response. And the commander rages, demanding a head-on collision, as Lae'zel dances around him, punishing every clumsy swing, while the noble watches, realizing his pawn is failing, and the girls worry, sensing the fight is not over, as the air crackles, static building with intense energy, while she notes the change, dreading the coming storm, and the sky darkens, revealing a terrifying, unnatural power. Fina Garcia realizes these seals are not natural, while Lae'zel baits the commander into overextending. And the commander mocks his lack of raw power, but Lae'zel reveals his trap, channeling a hidden array, as the stadium erupts, stunned by his tactical genius, while Fina Garcia watches, finally grasping his true plan, and Lae'zel unleashes a massive, crackling bolt of lightning, as the strike descends, shattering the commander's defenses, while the blinding flash engulfs the entire arena, and the ground craters, leaving the commander buried, as Lae'zel gasps, his body pushed to the limit. While he admits the potion drained his final reserves, and the commander lies defeated, his pride in ruins, as the onlookers lose their minds at the upset, while Fina Garcia wonders if he actually won, and Lae'zel curses, realizing his attack was not enough, as the commander rises, revealing a terrifying secret technique, while the crowd shifts from shock to pure dread, and the commander admits he was nearly finished off, as he manifests a soul-devouring beast, forcing Lae'zel's panic. This Wolfgeist manifests a soul-devouring beast hungry for power, and the commander gloats, knowing Lae'zel is completely tapped out, while the onlookers panic, realizing the kid is truly cornered, and Lae'zel hits the dirt, his energy reserves hitting zero, as the beast looms, ready to feast on his remaining essence, while Lae'zel curses, his thundercall array failing him in this crisis, and the commander mocks him, promising a swift, soul-crushing end. While Lae'zel struggles, weighing the cost of one final, desperate gamble, and he remembers the grueling training that pushed him past limits, as he stares down the beast, swearing to shatter its hold, while Lae'zel screams, betting his very life on a forbidden technique, and his companion watches, terrified that he's finally gone too far, as a surge of raw, golden energy erupts from within him, while the crowd gasps, witnessing the impossible shift in the arena. And the shockwave clears the smoke, revealing a transformed Lae'zel. As he unlocks the second stage, his power reaching a new peak, and he grins, knowing his reckless bet just paid off, while the onlookers realize he's transcended his own mortal shackles, and Lae'zel stands revitalized, ready to dismantle the commander's pride. Lae'zel stares down the beast, cold and calculated, knowing the sacred seal is his only leverage, while the Wolfgeist surges, hungry for his soul. And he baits the trap, channeling every ounce left, as the beast lunges, completely falling for his ruse, while the commander strikes, blinded by his own greed, and Lae'zel counters with lunar fang slicing through arrogance, as the crowd watches in horror, their champion failing, while Lae'zel reveals the true nature of his play, and he grins, the seal breaker now fully active, as the commander realizes his mistake, eyes wide open, while the Wolfgeist turns, finally biting its true master. And Lae'zel mocks him, holding the power of control, as the commander screams, his entire world falling apart, while the noble panics, realizing his pawn is finished, and the beast mauls the commander, feeding on resentment, as the noble begs for mercy, his pride shattered, while Lae'zel stands firm, letting the chaos unfold naturally, and he coldly notes the commander's inevitable dark end, as the noble scrambles, desperate to save his asset. Lae'zel strikes, his blade cutting through the lingering tension, and he stands ready, his aura flaring with pure defiance. As the beast falls, its spiritual essence completely shattered, while the crowd watches in shock, the arena left in ruins, and Fina Garcia glares, her eyes locked on the corrupt leadership, as the city lord trembles, realizing his rigged game just imploded, while Lae'zel calls him out, demanding the freedom he earned, and his energy surges, a silent threat hanging in the air. As he points out the obvious, the deal is far from over, while the city lord sweats, realizing he's cornered by his own greed, and the official stammers, desperate to backpedal on his own verdict, as Lae'zel mocks his cowardice, calling out the blatant, pathetic dishonesty, while the city lord rants about reputation, ignoring his own hypocrisy, and Lae'zel smirks, knowing he's already won the moral high ground, as Fina Garcia watches, her concern turning into cold, calculated resolve. While the city lord panics, realizing his authority is crumbling fast, and Lae'zel unleashes a final burst, shaking the very foundation. As Fina Garcia steps up, forcing the lord to honor the terms, while she threatens his public image, the ultimate weapon against a fraud, and the city lord breaks his reputation officially in the gutter. This arena erupts as the verdict clears Lae'zel, his long-awaited freedom finally within his grasp, while his allies roar, celebrating his impossible survival. And Lae'zel stands dazed, processing the sudden shift. As he breathes a sigh, the tension finally breaking, while she watches him, her relief masked by pride, and he turns, wondering what comes next for them, as she lunges, pulling him into a desperate embrace. While tears stream down her face, pure joy unleashed, and Lae'zel smiles, finally feeling the weight lift away, as the scene shifts to a dark, quiet storage room, where a young elf girl panics over a broken rack. And her overseer barks, denying her food until it's fixed. A sharp action beat lands and changes the fight, while she struggles, sorting debris in the dim light, and she whimpers, her stomach growling in the silence, as Lae'zel suddenly appears, startling her with his presence, and he offers her food, questioning her harsh treatment, while she warns him, terrified of the consequences of stealing. This overseer threatens the girl, demanding total obedience. But Lae'zel intervenes, smashing the rotting storage rack, as he warns her about the unstable, dangerous structure. While she panics, fearing her hard work is ruined, and Lae'zel hushes her, promising to fix the mess, as he spots a volatile mix of hazardous materials, while Lae'zel devises a clever, physics-based separation trick, and he explains the plan to the stunned girl, as he urges her to hurry before they're caught, while she stares, wondering why he's risking everything. And Lae'zel jokes, calling the food his own punishment. A sharp action beat lands and changes the fight, as the girl holds her bag, feeling sudden hope, while his peers gossip, shocked that Lae'zel is leaving, and he promises to return and buy her freedom, as she blushes, overwhelmed by his unexpected, kind gesture, while Lae'zel reassures her, swearing he never breaks promises, and he pats her head, sealing their new bond, as a bystander questions if she'll join the showdown. While Lae'zel clarifies the rules, focusing on his goal, Lae'zel gets kicked out, his family cutting ties, but he's already focused on his next move, cornering Lady Garcia to demand his promised payout, and she's stunned by his sheer, unadulterated audacity, while he doubles down, needing cash to save Xiaomi, and she loses her cool, physically venting her frustration. But the bag of coins changes hands, deal sealed, as she demands to know his secret combat tactics. While Lae'zel plays it cool, dodging her intense interrogation, and she lectures him on the dangers of his arrogance, but he just mocks her motherly tone, pushing buttons, as she tries to assert authority by claiming him, while Lae'zel shuts her down, rejecting her mentorship offer, and he walks away, leaving her absolutely fuming, while the bank hits him with a brutal interest rate, and he visits the infirmary, checking on his fallen allies. As they lie broken, whispering warnings about his enemies, while Lae'zel stares, his resolve hardening into pure steel, and the squad celebrates his freedom at the local tavern, as they toast to a future finally on their terms. Lae'zel demands answers about his constant surveillance, while Alan stammers, clearly terrified of his own oversight, and a local official threatens to cuff him, as Lae'zel vents his frustration over the constant sabotage, while Alan tries to play it cool with Xiaomi. And Lae'zel reveals the terrifying truth behind their slave marks, as they realize these chains bind them all together, while Alan dismisses the danger, betting on raw power, and Lae'zel pivots to his only real goal, cold cash, as Alan offers job leads to keep him close, while Lae'zel scoffs, ready to monetize their alchemy skills, and the title card drops, marking their desperate uprising, as the city gates rumble with an incoming threat, while the streets clear, sensing a dangerous arrival. And the locals panic, wondering why the road matters, as Lae'zel watches, realizing the arena is their next target, while arrogant riders storm through, demanding the path clear, and the crowd cowers, fearing these capital-born elites. As Lae'zel tests Xiaomi's eye for rare materials, while he critiques her choice, pushing her to improve, every race packs a unique hidden talent, and Lae'zel knows Xiaomi's elf eyes are gold, so he pushes her to master ore spotting fast. While admitting alchemy is not exactly his strong suit, but his smooth talk keeps her spirits high, and he demands Alan hand over the rare shards, forcing the greedy alchemist to scramble for them, while Fina Garcia undergoes a sudden, intense breakthrough, as her combat art hits a dangerous new tier, and she realizes Lae'zel's influence triggered this power surge, while she wonders why he refuses her mentorship, and she plots to force him into discipleship. Until she catches him in the middle of chaos, as Lae'zel forces a high-level alchemy technique through, and he screams at Alan for failing the support, while he drags a stunned Fina into the process, as they combine their energy to stabilize the reaction, and the shards refine perfectly, skyrocketing their market value, while a defeated Alan realizes he just witnessed mastery, and Fina suffers the side effects of her core. Lae'zel realizes his latest plan hit a massive snag, as unexpected guests storm the lab, demanding Fina Garcia's presence, and the royal alchemists arrive looking for a miracle cure, while the room freezes, everyone stunned by their sudden appearance, as the visitors beg Fina Garcia to save the dying princess, while these high-ranking SEAL masters explain the dire royal situation, and Fina Garcia admits her research is still in experimental stages, as the princess's grim, comatose state is revealed to everyone. While the lead alchemist pleads for her immediate expert help, and Fina Garcia hesitates, questioning the safety of her own treatment, as she outlines her complex, risky plan to purge the malady, while the royal alchemist praise her genius, completely missing the danger, and Laisel interrupts, bluntly declaring her entire method a total disaster, as Fina Garcia recoils, shocked by his sudden, harsh public critique, while Laisel demands she listen before she kills the patient. And she frantically stalls the royal team to avoid immediate failure, as the alchemists depart, leaving them alone to face the truth, while Laisel explains why her potion would be a death sentence, and he details how the heat toxins would ravage the princess. As they realize the cure is actually a lethal hidden poison, Laisel drops the truth: the princess is doomed either way, and Fina Garcia panics, realizing her cure is a death sentence, so she begs for a way out of this lethal mess. While Laisel suggests using his astral finger to stabilize her body, and he flexes his expertise, claiming his father taught him well, as he dismisses her, shifting focus to his own profit margins, while he leaves Fina behind to sell his rare dragon shards, and she desperately tries to recruit him for the royal mission, as Laisel mocks her nerves, though he knows the stakes are high, while he shuts her down, citing his own restrictive city surveillance. And Fina vows to handle the politics, demanding he trust her, as Laisel counts his massive payout, feeling the hustle pay off, while he wanders the streets planning to settle his debts, and he wonders if Fina is still fuming over his bluntness, as he stumbles upon a slave market, sensing a new opportunity, while he spots a familiar face, a skilled alchemist in chains, and he realizes she's the perfect asset to help Xiaomi as the bidding war explodes, forcing Laisel to make his move. Laisel crashes the auction, mocking the elite's greed, and he drops a massive bid, shocking the crowd, as the auctioneer screams, desperate to close the deal, while his rivals panic, wondering who this kid is, and Laisel keeps raising the stakes, crushing their wallets, as the rich snobs fume, losing their composure entirely, while he pushes the price higher, baiting their pride, and the hammer falls, sealing his expensive, bold victory, as Laisel celebrates having just bought his new asset. While he approaches the girl, his true plan unfolding, and he demands to know why she's so silent, as he fears the worst, that she's been silenced, while he checks her mouth, terrified of permanent damage, and she recoils, disgusted by his lack of boundaries, as she lashes out, refusing to be his slave, while Laisel laughs, rejecting the role of cruel master, and he mocks her suspicion, calling her drama ridiculous, as he clarifies his intent: he needs her skills. While he offers a partnership, promising to unlock potential, and she stands frozen, wary of his strange proposal. These thugs are fuming over their lost prize, but Laisel is not backing down from their threats, so he tells them to get lost, sparking chaos, and the goons launch a coordinated, high-stakes assault, as they unleash twin combat arts, fire and wind. A sharp action beat lands and changes the fight, while Laisel stares down their terrifying, combined flame spin. And his companion watches, stunned by the sheer intensity, as the vortex of heat threatens to consume everything. But Laisel reaches into the inferno, unfazed by danger, and he effortlessly dismantles their technique with cold precision. As the attackers realize their pride just took a hit, while they panic, seeing he took zero damage, and Laisel mocks their weakness, proving his superior power, as he counters with a devastating, icy stone strike. While the lead thug crashes hard, completely outclassed, and his allies tremble, realizing they picked the wrong target, as Laisel dares them to keep coming for more, while the young master demands his weapon, desperate for revenge, and Laisel plays coy, hiding his true lethal potential. Laisel unleashes his hidden, monstrous combat aura, while the arrogant thug mocks him, courting death, and Laisel recognizes the lethal, holy weapon's power, as the young master orders his goon to strike. While Laisel prepares a desperate, high-stakes defensive maneuver, and the thug lunges, aiming for a killing blow, as Laisel counters with a massive, stone-shattering technique, while he analyzes the holy weapon's complex alchemical nature, and the thug scoffs, underestimating his opponent's raw potential, as the clash intensifies, pushing both to their limits, while Laisel shatters the assault with pure brute force, and he mocks the thug, needing only bare hands. As Laisel grabs the weapon, stunning his overconfident rival, while the thug realizes he's facing a true monster, and the young master demands they be captured alive, as Laisel processes the threat of the capital city, while his eyes lock onto the next lethal opening, and he turns the tide, seizing the holy weapon. As Laisel dances through their strikes, completely untouchable, Laisel analyzes the enemy's phantom image technique, realizing their capital city destination is no coincidence. As the arrogant young master marks them as prey, and Laisel shatters the girl's shackles in one motion, while he demands she flee to the Sage's Guild, as he prepares to draw their fire away, and he scoops her up to ensure her escape, while she panics at his reckless high-speed path as Laisel launches her towards safety with precision, and she lands, stunned by his sudden, brutal speed, while Laisel stares down his pursuers, ready for war, as the enemy unleashes a lethal, slicing strike. And she watches from afar, refusing his help, while Laisel deflects the assault with pure instinct, as the shockwave erupts, proving his overwhelming power, and he mocks their pathetic, weak-sauce combat arts, while the young master fumes, ego bruised, as a dark vortex of energy threatens Lae'zel, and he stands his ground, bracing for impact, while he senses a deeper, more sinister threat approaching. Lae'zel unleashes a dark, crushing energy vortex. And Fina Garcia watches, stunned by his raw power, as he leaves his opponent suspended in midair, while Fina Garcia retreats, desperate to avoid the fallout, and the local guards arrive, demanding an immediate explanation. As the combatants scatter, choosing flight over further confrontation, while Fina Garcia returns to the guild feeling completely overwhelmed, and she announces her return, searching for Lae'zel, as her allies confirm he's been missing for hours. While they speculate on his whereabouts with cynical humor, and Fina Garcia worries, fearing he's in real trouble, as she leaves instructions hoping he returns to safety, while Lae'zel finds himself cornered in the dark streets, and the city patrol confronts him, accusing him of theft, as he realizes he's trapped by the Night Watch, while memories of his betrayal surface, fueling his rage, and he laments his situation, feeling the weight of failure. As Lae'zel prepares for a final, desperate stand, while he is hauled away, imprisoned in a transport cage, and he sits in the dark, plotting his next move, Lae'zel eyes the capital's outskirts, plotting his next move, knowing he needs a solid alibi to dodge Lucas's wrath, but his soul-damaged body screams for a desperate, immediate fix, so he resolves to push his spiritual energy beyond limits. Meanwhile, a flashback reveals a young girl fighting her father, as she begs to avoid the bitter, experimental plague medicine, while her father insists this new formula is their salvation, yet she rightfully fears being nothing more than a test subject, and he claims this sacrifice is vital for their family's future, leaving her to see that his cold, calculated, selfish ambition, as she examines the grim results of his questionable clinical trials, while he pushes to monetize the medicine despite the obvious risks. And his peers rightfully slam his reckless, profit-driven, dangerous plan, as they mock his lack of ethics and basic alchemical standards, while she bites back, daring them to provide it for free, and the room erupts in a heated moral and petty clash, until the vice president suggests a compromise to settle the heat, though the church's involvement promises a whole new layer of trouble, as the father realizes the deal has left them completely broke. And she apologizes, desperate to cut their losses and run away. Leah questions her father's obsession with family wealth, as he recounts his past saved by her late mother, and Leah listens, realizing her mother's legacy was pure safety, while her father dreams of the Pagi name becoming legendary, and Leah blushes, touched by his genuine, heartfelt pride, but she worries the cost of their ambition is far too high, as he promises to do anything for her, urging them forward. While Leah wakes up disoriented in the cold, harsh morning light, and she plots her escape, desperate to avoid being spotted, as hunger gnaws at her 2 days without a single meal, while she hears guards discussing the missing Lae'zel landlot, and she freezes, shocked that they are hunting for him, as she debates whether to reveal his location to them, while she decides to stay silent, fearing for her own life, and memories of her father's demands haunt her every step. As she grits her teeth, suppressing her overwhelming, rising panic, while the guards argue over the age of their target, and Leah slips away, watching a caravan ride into the distance, as Fina Garcia rides toward the capital, alone and desperate, while she studies the astral finger, finding zero records of success. Fina Garcia digs through ancient texts, desperate for answers, and a sudden realization hits her like a truck, as she uncovers the forbidden legacy of soul forgers. While she frantically cross-references the dangerous, lost alchemical arts, and confirms the star string finger is the key, but she fears Lae'zel is playing with lethal fire, as she experiments on herself, pushing her own limits, while she hitches a ride to the capital, playing nice, and she deflects the driver's creepy advances with practiced ease, as her allies panic, realizing Lae'zel has vanished entirely, while she worries he's already triggered a noble's wrath. And Lae'zel stands ready, his aura burning with intensity, as his friends track him down in the city, but they run straight into a hostile, armed patrol, and a thug corners the girl, demanding her return, as the group realizes they've stumbled into a trap, while the thug mocks their pathetic, weak-sauce resistance, and he threatens to end her life right there, as he accuses her of poisoning their vice-captain, and she screams her allegiance to Lae'zel, desperate for survival. These thugs are reeling from the massive price tag, while the Shadow Iron Corp goon weighs his options, and he decides to go for blood, ignoring the consequences, as a guild member steps in, desperate to stop the madness, but the guard captain pulls rank, claiming his word is law, while the guild member mocks his ignorance of city politics, and he reminds the guard who actually keeps the city alive, as he threatens to pull the guild's influence if pushed. While the guard seethes, forced to back down from the confrontation, and he retreats, leaving the guild member to gloat in victory, as the allies scramble, realizing Lae'zel has completely vanished, while they panic, learning he was hauled off to the capital, and they debate if he went willingly or was taken by force, as the guild member realizes his own neck is on the line, while they resolve to mount a rescue mission before it's too late. And Lae'zel's eyes sharpen, sensing the gravity of his new prison, while he surveys the dark, crowded cell, feeling the trap close, and he realizes he's been dumped in a holding pen for captives, as he wonders if these strangers are just more collateral damage, while he struggles to recover his energy, fighting against his own failing body. This guard barges in, acting like a total clown, while Laesil stares back, completely unimpressed by this loudmouth. And the guard brags about his brother fishing for relevance, but Laesil just wants to survive this ridiculous prison food, as the guard serves up a slab of questionable meat, while adding a glob of black garlic sauce for flavor, and Laesil wonders if this is actually just elaborate torture, as the guard threatens anyone who dares to leave leftovers, while the other prisoners look miserable, dreading the meal, and Laesil checks for poison, finding the quality surprisingly decent. As the guard demands they eat, desperate for compliance, while Laesil realizes this meal might actually help his recovery, and he decides to stop being polite and just eat, as the other captives watch him, stunned by his appetite, while the scene shifts to the Grand Flame Kingdom capital, and Fina Garcia meets the king playing the genius alchemist, as they discuss the princess's mysterious critical illness, while Fina Garcia is sent to begin the high-stakes treatment. And she consults with her team, confirming the materials are ready, as she senses something deeply wrong with the king's cold indifference. Fina Garcia arrives, meeting the Prince of Flame, who begs for his sister's life, desperate for hope, while the royal bedroom feels like a gilded cage, and the princess lies fading, her body failing fast, as Fina Garcia takes charge, dismissing the exhausted staff, while she inspects the rare herbs with expert precision, and outlines the risky, high-stakes alchemical treatment plan, as she prepares to channel energy into the patient, while the star string finger demands total, grueling focus, and she commits to the 5-hour marathon, no turning back.